Another change in the real estate market? Let's get real on today's episode of Homebuyers Town Hall Corona on the Power is Now TV. This is Jenny Gonzalez, Realtor with Keller Williams Corona. My license number is 01249788. I've been licensed since 1998. My cell phone number is 951-316-0374, and my website is jennygsaleshomes.com. In this ever-changing real estate market, we are getting another shift, which now benefits both buyers and sellers. Sellers are still getting top dollar for their home, and buyers are now serious, no longer just looking. Due to the change in the interest rates over the last 6 to 8 months, we have a more positive trend and more affordability for buyers. What exactly are the positive trends that we are seeing? We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we will get into the details.
It's the American dream to buy your own home, to build your own financial security, to call a place your own. Discover how easy it is to qualify for down payment assistance with Golden State Finance Authority. You don't have to have perfect credit or be a first-time home buyer. Find out if down payment assistance will help you purchase a home in California. Call 855-740-8422 or visit gsfahome.org. Make your dream a reality.
Welcome back to the Homebuyers Town Hall Corona. You can see this episode along with past episodes and upcoming episodes on the Power is Now TV app on all your devices. Don't miss our listing updates, seminars, and much more on the Power is Now TV. So what exactly are the positive trends that we are seeing? Prices in some areas are dipping a little bit, but most are at a stable price, and sellers are more realistic with their listing prices and not expecting over asking price like what we were seeing during COVID and over the last 2 years. Sellers now are just looking to get a net price to move on and are willing to give closing costs and rate buy downs to qualify the buyers. Over the last couple months, this change has relieved us realtors because we understand nothing lasts forever. The whole point of home ownership is to own a home, and now we will start seeing more first-time home buyers in the market able to buy that could not before because homes were going so far over asking price, they were priced out of the market. This is a win-win for both buyers and sellers. Now let's talk a little bit about my last couple of listings and the conversations that led to pricing for selling. Educating my sellers on how the new and improved market can benefit them is very important as well. If they have the wrong expectations due to people they are talking to, friends, family, etc., their expectations can be completely off. I had an interview with a potential client and had to advise them that because their home was not within 2 miles and 10 to 15 years of comparables, $50,000 over what I proposed to him was not going to work, because the appraisers will use the ones that are right there within a mile. For instance, if you have a home built in 1964 that is 1,800 square feet, you cannot compare it to a 1980s home even within a mile of the property, because it is not a comparable no matter how much money you put into the property. The rule for appraisals is 10 to 15 years under or over, and 150 square feet over or under. And usually the appraisers search within a mile first. The only thing that could change that is if we're in a rural area with a lot of land and they have to stay within the same city and they have to find 3 comparable sales. What is a comparable? Size, age, condition, remodel or not, full single story, 2-story. The single story will always be worth more than the 2-story unless the upgrades are more in the 2-story with the same age and square footage. I'm going to use a couple of examples from my last couple of listings to show the difference between 2020 and today. On Old Mill, I advised them to list their home at $625, and they decided to list it at $650. And because we were already on the downturn that previous week, They ended up accepting an offer at $625. 30 days later, after we reduced it to that price, we would have had an accepted offer the first week if they had listed it at $625. This was my first listing transaction that offered closing costs of $5,000 since 2020. By the way, all of my buyers in 2020 got their homes for less than asking price and with $5,000 in credits because I know how to work it. On Bighorn, I advised that they list at $895. They insisted on listing at $905. It was worth it, but we didn't get any offers with a ton of activity. After one open house and feedback is reduced to $895. I did some more open houses and we had 2 offers. We ended up at $875 because the market was dipping at the time and we were getting less activity. This one gave $8,000 in closing costs. My most recent one that just closed on Bandini. I had a client that used to be a real estate agent, so he knew what was going on in the market. We listed the property at $505. We got an offer at $510. What was the difference? Realistic pricing and preparation on the house with a walkthrough prior to listing. Buyers received $10,000 in closing costs on this transaction. So during 2020 to 2022, we saw buyers offering sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars to get into a home. Buyers were waiving appraisals, inspections, and all sorts of things that were getting out of control. This is why we are going to start having people underwater in their mortgages. I am currently working on over 40 notice of defaults in Corona to help them from getting foreclosed on and getting their equity out now. What are the issues now facing buyers that don't buy and sellers that do not take the equity out and let the bank take it? Rent prices. Rent prices have literally gone from a meeting of $2,500 a month in 2020 to $3,500 a month currently. In addition, there's a lack of inventory for renters. So now I'm seeing a ton of people just looking for rooms to rent instead. This is the reverse of where we should be going. I want to let those people know that I am here. If they're in trouble and you contact me for a free consultation, we can go over what options you have because you may have more options than you realize. Now we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Eric Frazier at Residential Bancorp about buyers and what their concerns are regarding interest rates and the housing market.
The Power Is Now magazines are the leading resource for real estate agents, mortgage bankers, entrepreneurs, and small home ownership businesses, providing leaders with business strategy information, resources, and tools through PIN, Real Estate, Programming Guide magazines. Stay up to the minute with real estate news and information from industry experts. Subscription is free. Sign up today. thepowerisnow.com. thepowerisnow.com.
And we're back. So let's welcome Eric Frazier with Residential Bancorp. Thank you so much, Eric, for attending my show.
Jenny, the pleasure is all mine. Anytime I can be on the Jenny Gonzalez show, I'm all in. You do an incredible job. And for those of you who are watching maybe for the first time, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Jenny knows Corona better than anybody else I know. And Jenny, I've been watching and listening to your show today, and a lot of great information that I think sellers should take heed to listen to their agents, because you guys really know what's going on in the marketplace. You got your finger, if you will, on the pulse of the trends, the sales trends in the marketplace. And I think that's invaluable to sellers who are looking to try to get the most they can in the market we're in.
Absolutely, Eric. It really has. When I talk to sellers, their biggest concern is, are there buyers out there that are willing to buy my home? So I want to know what you're seeing and what you think about what the market is and what you're seeing on the buyer side after I'm looking at the listing side.
Well, Jenny, I'll be happy to share my insights in working with buyers. And let me first state, for those of you who may be meeting me for the first time, I'm Eric Frazier, a Senior Vice President of National Sales with Residential Bancorp. My license number is 461807. And I specialize in residential 1 to 4 units, helping people to get into homeownership or to invest, to buy more real estate, or to just pool their resources together with family and friends to build wealth in real estate. Any way you want to get a hold of some real estate and you need the cash, that's what I specialize in doing. And I work, Jenny, with a lot of first-time home buyers. That's a specialty and a passion. I can remember the day I bought my first house, and I wish I knew me back then, because there's a lot to know and a lot to deal with in buying a home. And what I'm finding with buyers today that have gone through the process, that are fully approved and out looking for a home, I'm finding three things that really have me concerned because it's making them vulnerable to the current market conditions that we're in, which could get even more challenging for them as time goes on, with the Fed doing their very best to kind of fight inflation by raising the federal discount rate and slowing down the economy. So the first thing that I'm seeing with buyers is, one, a lack of sense of urgency. They just don't have the sense of urgency that I believe they should have after they've been approved, and to get out and to find that house. And what they don't understand is that the market is not going to wait for them. Even while interest rates are going up, some areas, we're still seeing prices increase in some areas, not in all areas, but in some areas, it's still very much a seller's market. Now, I live nationally, so I'm telling you what I'm seeing nationally. In some local markets, and Jenny, you could probably speak to this more than I can in Corona, but we're not seeing major drops also in prices. As interest rates are going up, the sellers aren't dropping their prices by 50,000 or 100,000, it may be 10, maybe 20, but we're not seeing any major swings. And so buyers are thinking that, things are going to change and I'm just going to, go out there and test the waters. That's not going to work. You need to be all about it out there every weekend, every week, looking with your agent to try to find something to get in, because even if there is a price reduction happening that you're seeing, rates are moving up. Rates are moving up. So what you may gain in price, you may end up spending the same money in payment because the rates are higher and will continue to rise. And so I'm seeing a lack of urgency among buyers. And I really wish that every buyer, and whether you're approved with me or another lender, if you got a pre-approval, you need to be working with a real estate agent who is accessible and available, constantly showing you properties and getting you out there to get into something right now before you are priced out. That's another reason why you need to work with a sense of urgency. And in fact, one of the things that I see that a lot of buyers are concerned about, and this would be my second reason, is that there's a lot of fear out there. And with interest rates going up, they're wondering, man, should I buy right now? Should I buy? Interest rates are double or triple what they were. Be triple, we could be looking at 8 or 9% interest rates, depending on what the Federal Reserve continues to do, the actions they continue to take to slow down this economy. And if interest rates continue to rise, many buyers are going to be priced out of being able to buy a home. Even though the prices of the homes may decrease because of the rising interest rates, the rates can be so high that it still makes it unaffordable. And so the question is, should I buy? There's a lot of fear and uncertainty around that. And my answer has been and will continue to be, regardless of what the Fed does, is absolutely you should buy. Buy now. If you can qualify at whatever the rate is, you need to buy. And the reason why, just talk to anyone who's owned a home for, I don't know, 5 years or more, or even 2 or 3 years or more. Just talk to anybody. They will tell you that their prices have gone up, and maybe they're sliding a little bit right now, but they bought when interest rates were low, and they're just going to wait and to refinance or do something else when interest rates come down. or they bought in the early 2000s when interest rates were high and prices were high, and then the rates dropped in 2008 to 2013, 14, 15 range, and they refinanced again. And so they'll tell you that things are constantly changing. And so you'll have an opportunity, if you can qualify to buy now, to refinance into a lower rate. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I do know it is going to happen. And you're not trying to buy a house that you're planning on selling a year from now, probably not even 5 to 7 years from now. You're buying a home to live in. And so that's a lot of time for the home value to increase and for rates to fluctuate downward and make it possible for you to refinance and lower your payment, or maybe refinance, pull out some cash and buy another house or do some improvements for the property. And so I'm seeing fear being a factor. And I want to encourage people, number one, work with a sense of urgency. Number two, don't buy into the fear and the fear talk you may hear from people who don't even own a home. People that I know that own a home will tell you to buy a house if you can afford to buy it now. Is very, very important to get into home ownership. And the other thing too is that interest rates, could get higher. And if they do, so what? If you can still qualify, buy, because you can always adjust the interest rates later when rates start to float down. So those are the two things that I see, Jenny, that have me concerned. And do you have any questions about that? Because there's one last thing I'll share after your response.
The sense of urgency, I really can feel you with. And what I suggest people is, if you cannot go out to see a house, you should have an agent that is able to go out to the house and videotape the house for you, however many they are. That's what I've done for my clients. And that way, if they have to work and there's only a certain amount of time that you can see this house, we are the ones that can go out there and videotape those houses for you and give you our professional opinion about those homes. So there doesn't need to be fear in that.
Yes, I totally agree. Work with an agent who's going to work with you according to your time frame. And let me tell you, there are agents out there like Jenny Gonzalez that will meet you according to your time and flexibility, because they want to help you achieve your goal. I want to add something to the last point I made about fear. The biggest fear is that what happens if the property value drops? Well, if you look back on the history of real estate, you'll see that real estate has always gone up and down, up and down, and up and down. So I just say, buckle in and get ready for the roller coaster. Yes, your property value may drop. But again, unless you are a flipper, which you're probably not, and you're looking to buy low and sell high, which is what flippers do, if you're not a flipper, then you shouldn't be worried about. I'd be more worried about being priced out, not being able to get into a home that you own and still be locked in permanently, of renting and dealing with rising rents. And Jenny, you mentioned earlier, rents, I can't believe what it costs to rent in Corona now. And that's just going to continue to rise and make it even more challenging for people to buy. The last point I want to make that I'm concerned about is buyers having unrealistic expectations. I mean, you're full of regret right now. You should have bought, 2 years ago, where interest rates were in the threes, right? You should have bought, it, but you can't cry over spilled milk. And you could have bought a whole lot more house when interest rates were in the low threes. Now you can't. So unfortunately, you're not matching up your expectations with your economic reality. Don't even start the process if you're not just willing to get in where you fit in. Lower your expectations. The goal here is to attach your income and credit to an asset that's going to appreciate over time, and then sell that property, take the equity, and get into something you really want. Right now, you just need to get into the game. Yes, it needs to have the rooms you need. Yes, it needs to have the square footage you need. Yes, it needs to be in the school district you want to be in. Sure, right? But if you can't meet all those, you can't check all those boxes, you got to be willing to make a compromise. Yes, it needs to be close to work, but if you can't get in there, close to work, then be willing to drive. It's not forever. This is not your forever home. You're trying to get into the game, folks, and I highly recommend you do that. So if you're interested in working with me and just learning more about the options that are available to you, down payment assistance, closing cost assistance, there's all kinds of things that are available. Please give me a call at 714-475-8629. Denny and I are going to be doing an online homebuyer seminar coming soon as well. Sign up for that. The details are in the description below. And just fit in where you fit in.
Thank you so much, Eric. That was very informative. And seeing the buyer side of things is really different than the seller side of things, I can tell you. I've had more listings lately than buyers, but previously I had more buyers than listings the year before. So I was in the buyer zone and feeling all those feels. But like I said, during COVID, every single buyer I had, I got under list price for them, and I got them closing costs, because where there's a will, there's a way. And I actually saved one client $60,000 because I moved them from one city to the city next door, and they were fanatic about it. So, you know, it's all a matter of being there for our clients. And Eric, I appreciate you coming on. And everybody, I really appreciate Eric wholly, because he's just been there for everybody. And do you have anything else, Eric? I know.
No, Jenny, thank you for inviting me today to your show, folks. Please reach out to Jenny Gonzalez if you're looking to buy or sell. She can help you. We work as a team, and I appreciate her as well. She's a seasoned, experienced agent. She loves people, and she loves helping people achieve their goals, and so do I. So the power is now to buy, Jenny.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, everybody. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll finish up.
It's the American dream to buy your own home, to build your own financial security, to call a place your own. Discover how easy it is to qualify for down payment assistance with Golden State Finance Authority. You don't have to have perfect credit or be a first-time home buyer. Find out if down payment assistance will help you purchase a home in California. Call 855-740-8422 or visit gsfahome.org. Make your dream a reality.
Thank you for watching today's episode of Powers Now TV Homebuyers Town Hall Corona. I look forward to the next one. My name is Jenny Gonzalez with Keller Williams Corona. License number is 01249788. I've been licensed since 1998. My cell phone number is 951-316-0374, and my website is jennygsaleshomes.com. Remember, the power is now to buy or sell real estate.